Hello there. We're here today to do some math exercises in this workbook. This is called the TABE Tutor Practice Level M book, and this is book 1. The math for this series has 2 parts, so I am looking at the first book. And you can get these workbooks from your teacher. Teacher may have told you not to write in them, so if so, please observe that rule so that we can use these with other students. But if you can write in them, I would encourage you to cross off the lessons or check them off as you do them in the table of contents. And that will help you remember where you are in your program and where you need to start the next day. So I'm going to film the videos. I will name them exactly the way their lessons are named here. So they should be easier for you to find and to keep up with where you are in your process. Remember, you can always ask questions of your teacher. Just because you're in a distance learning program does not mean that your teacher is not going to help you. You can always ask questions if you have them. I'm just going to be working these problems. I'm not going to be going into the theory, the math theory behind them. If you need that depth of instruction, please contact your teacher and he or she can help you with that understanding. This is more of a review of skills that you already have. We just need to apply those to test taking strategies. So I'm on page 2. We're looking at practice 1, and this one is called place value in whole numbers. And I'm going to work these problems. I will share some tricks and tips with you as we go through these, but not a lot of the theory of math. We don't want these to be hours and hours long. They're going to be long videos anyway, but I'll keep them as short as I can and still cover the material that we need. So looking here at number 1, it says the value of the 7 in 57,264 is 10 times greater than the value of the 7 in which of these numbers? So let's set this up. The first thing we want to do is to focus right here. We need to figure out what the value of the 7 is in that number. So I'm looking right there at that 7, and that is worth 7,000. Okay? And it is telling me that 7,000 is greater than the value of the answer I'm looking for. So it tells me that in my answer choice, the 7 will be less than 7,000. But let's figure out exactly what we're looking for. So I'm going to take the 7,000 and I'm going to break that down by 10 times. So I'm taking that 7,000 and this 10 and I'm dividing that down to a smaller number. So you can say, let's cancel a 0 if you don't have a calculator. 700 divided by 1 is 700. So I am looking for an answer that has a 7 in the hundreds place. This is 7,000. This is 7 10,000s. 700 and 7 tens. So the answer that we want is B. 7 in the hundreds position. 700. So this lesson is going to involve building up and breaking down, and I'll help you figure those out as we go. I think by the time we get to the last one, you'll have the hang of this process. Gemma lives at 153 Mulberry Street. Liam lives at 271 Mulberry Street. Which sentence is true? So as I glance down through all of these choices, notice that they all have the value of 1. So I'm going to look at the value of the 1 in each of my numbers. Okay, so I have the value of the 153. The 1 is in the hundreds place. The value of the 1 at Liam's address is just 1. It's in the units place. So we are looking at a difference of 100 times. Okay, so let's look at our choices here. And I see there's 100 times, but there's 100 times. 10 times and 10 times. So we can eliminate C and D. We need 100 times. So is A the correct answer or is B the correct answer? A says the value of 1 in 153 is greater than the value of 1 in 271, and that is true. This is the one we want. Again, we are just focusing on the ones, not the whole digit, 153 and 271. You have to zero in on the digit they're wanting you to compare. That's a little tricky to me. I don't really like these problems, but it doesn't matter if I like them. Number 3. Which number has a 9 that has a value that is 1,000 times greater than the value of the 9 in this number? So let's look at the 9 in this number. And that one is 90. Now think about it. The choice that I have to make, the answer that I have to choose, is 1,000 times greater than that 90. So is that building up or breaking down? It is building up. We're building up 1,000 times that number. So this time we have to multiply. And here's a little trick for you. If you're doing 90 times 1,000 and you don't have a calculator, count the zeros. And let me just draw this out for you. There's a 0 and there are 3 zeros. So you have a total of 4 zeros. And then 9 times 1 is 9. So I am looking for an answer choice that has a 9 in the 10,000s seat. So let's take a look here. There's a 9 in the 100,000s, a 9 in the thousands, a 9 in the hundreds, and a 9 in the 10,000s. I am looking for D. So we have to decide if we need to build up or break down and then match their answer to the answer that we find. How many times greater is the 2 in this digit than the 2 in this digit? So sorry, not digit, number. The 2 in this number and the 2 in this number. So here's the 2 in the first one and the 2 in the second one. So I have 200,000 and 20. Now from the first one to the second one, I'm definitely breaking it down. I'm going from this big number down to this number. Breaking down is division. Cancel a 0. 2 divided into itself is 1. And then we still have 4 zeros left in there. So the answer we're looking for is 10,000, which corresponds to A. And that was problem number 4. Number 5. The distance from Portland, Maine to Portland, Oregon is 3,188 miles. The distance from San Francisco, California to Chicago, Illinois is 2,132 miles. The 3 in the first one is how many times greater than the 3 in the second one? So let's take a look at the 3 in this number and the 3 in this number. The first one is a 3,000. The second one is a 30. So from 3,000 to 30, that's breaking down. That is division. So 3,000 break it down to 30, so you have to divide to do that. And cancel out your zeros. 3 into 3 is 1, and you still have 2 zeros left. So I am looking for 100 times. Number 5, the answer is C. And I know we're not doing English class right now, but there is a serious set of grammar mistakes in this problem, and I want us to fix those. I can't just let those go. When you use a name of a city and a state in the middle of a sentence, you need commas after the state. They got it between Portland and Maine, but there needs to be a comma here, 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 and here. And that could very easily be on your writing test. So even though that has nothing whatsoever to do with the math, I want you to make sure that you know that those commas need to be there. That is a mistake that should not appear in printed textbooks. But everyone makes mistakes, so let's just fix it and move on. Alright, number 6. The value of the 5 in the first number is 1,000 times greater than the value of 5 in which number? So let's mark off our 5. And then we're comparing that to the 5s down here. Okay. So this one, we have 500,000. And we're going to break that down. It tells me that the 500,000 is the big one. It's 1,000 times more than the one we're looking for. So we're going to take this big number and break that down by 1,000. Cancel your zeros in pairs, as many of them as you can. And then 1 into 500 is 500. So let's look at our choices, and it looks like D is the one that has the 500. The others have 5s, but they're the wrong values of 5s. The digits are in the wrong places. So for number 6, we are looking for D. Number 7, Isabella earns $120 per day. After 100 days, how much money will she earn? Well, I'm going to take the 120 and I'm going to build up for 100 days. Building up is multiplying. If you don't have a calculator, it's okay. Count your zeros, and there are 3 of them. And again, let me draw what I'm doing here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then 1 times 12 is 12. So she has earned $12,000 at the end of 100 days. Number 8. Which 2 numbers have an 8 that has a value 10 times greater than the value of the 8 in this number? So this is an 8 in the thousands place, and they want us to build that up 10 times. Count your zeros. There are 4 of them. 8 times 1 is 8. So I am looking for an 8 in the 10 thousands place. So let's mark our 8s in each digit, each number. I don't know why I keep saying that. The 8 is the digit. The number is the whole thing. So I'm just having trouble with that today. F doesn't have an 8 in it, so we can eliminate that one altogether. So this first one, A, the 8 is in the ones place. B, it's in the thousands place. C, look at that one, it is in the 10 thousands place. But it's also there in E. Be very, very careful, guys, on the TABE test. Some of those answers have 2 numbers, 2 answers. On the HiSET, that will not be the case. But on the TABE test, if you're preparing for your TABE, that is the case. Sometimes you have more than one answer. You can have 3 or 4 answers. So just be careful there. If you don't get both of these, you would not get full credit. So read carefully. Number 9. The average cost of a new car was $3,542 in 1970. In 2015, the average cost of a new car was $30,500. How does the value of the 3 compare in those 2 amounts? So in this 2015 price, it's in the 10,000s place. In this one, it's in the 1,000s place. So you have 30,000. You're breaking that down to 3,000. So let's figure out what this answer would be. Cancel what you can. And then 3 into 30 is 10. So I'm looking for a difference of 10 times. In other words, the price of a new car has grown 10 times in that interval of time. So this one has 10,000 times, 1,000 times, 100 times. There's the one we're looking for. There is a 10 times difference in the 2. So D is the answer to problem number 9. I have it so enlarged I can't see all that. Number 10. The mass of a blue whale is 179,840 kilograms. The 9 in that number is 100 times greater than the 9 in which of these? So they're telling me that the blue whale is the larger of the 2, that its 9 is going to be greater than the value of the 9's down here. We just have to figure out which one of those that would be. So this is 9 in the thousands place. And we're going to break that down by 100 times. Because the animal that we're looking for is smaller than the blue whale. We're breaking it down. So cancel out your zeros. 90 divided by 1 is 90. So the one that would fit a 9 in the tens place is right there. We want to go with this answer. These are kind of brain benders. The way the questions are worded, you really have to think and you really have to read carefully. Which number has a 1 that has a value that is 10,000 times greater than the value of the 1 in this number? So this time, that's the small number. This 10 is the smaller of the two. We need to build that up 10,000 times. So we have 4 5 zeros, and then 1 times 1 is 1. So I'm looking for 100,000, a 1 in the 100,000 seat. That's 1,000. That's a 10,000. 100, and there it is. It's D. The 1 in the 10,000 seat is answer D. So for question 11, you should choose D. Question 12. The value of the 5 in that number is 100 times greater than the value of 5 in which of these? So we're going to take this 5, which is worth 5,000, and it tells me that that is the greater number. So we're going to break that 5,000 down by 100. Don't know what just went haywire right there, but cancel where you can. 50 divided by 100 is 50. So let's look at our 5's and see which of them represents the value of 50. And hopefully you see it. The answer to question 12 is A. And guys, remember, if I'm going too fast for you, to stop your video or pause your video and take all the time you need. Number 13. Be so very careful here. Which two numbers have a 7 that has a value that is 1,000 times greater than the value of the 7 in this number? So this is the smaller of the two. This is a 70, and we want to build that up 1,000 times. So that would be 4 zeros. 7 times 1 is 7. I am looking for two numbers that have a 7 in their 10,000s seat. That's a thousands seat. 10,000, so B is one of them. That's hundreds. D is the other one in the 10,000 seat. So that would be B and D. It's all about the value of the places. That digit changes value when it changes places. It either builds up or it breaks down just by moving to a new seat. So the answer to number 13 is B and D, two numbers. Number 14. There are 525,600 minutes in a year. The world record for the longest time holding one's breath is just over 24 minutes. Which sentence is true? So I look down through here and I see that there is a 2 in each of these choices. So they're wanting me to focus on the digit 2 in my times. So this one is at 20,000 and this one is just 20. So let's break that down. Let's take the 20,000, break it down to 20. So we can cancel a 0, and then 2 divided into 2,000 is 1,000. So we are looking for 1,000 times difference. We have 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, and 10,000 times. So I'm going to go with C, 1,000 times difference. The answer to number 14 is C. Number 15. I like this question. It's just interesting information. Lightning can heat the air around it to 53,540 degrees Fahrenheit. The hottest temperature recorded in Antarctica, or the South Pole, is 63 degrees. Which sentence is true? So if we look down through here, we're looking at the value of the 3's in each of these. So let's look at the value of the 3 in each of these. So for lightning, the 3 is in the thousands place. And for Antarctica, it is in the ones place. And that goes from small to large, large to small. So it is breaking down. We are dividing. 3,000 divided by 3 is 1,000. And so let's look at the rest of this problem. There's 10,000 times, 1,000 times, 100 times, and 10 times. We want the 1,000 times. So the answer to number 15 is B. Sierra sells a painting for $75. 2 days later, she sells another painting for 10 times the amount of the first painting. What was the price of the second painting? Well, the first painting was $75. And you have to ask yourself, am I building up or breaking down? Was the second painting more or less than the first? And it was more. So you are building up by 10. So you have 1 0, and then 1 times 75 is 750. The answer to number 16 is C. That one really doesn't deal with place value as much as the building up concept. Number 17. How many times greater is the 1 in this number than the 1 in this number? So we have a 100,000, and then a 10. So I took the 100,000 down to 10. That's breaking down. Cancel what you can, and you're left with 10,000 times. So the answer to number 17 is A. Number 18. Kareem and Dion are counting their daily steps. Kareem records 13,244 steps, and Dion records 16,435 steps. The 3 in Kareem's step count is how many times greater than the 3 in Dion's step count? So look at your 3's. Kareem's is 3,000. Dion's is only 30. Cancel those out. 3 into 300, remember you're dividing. 3 into 3 is 1, and you have 2 zeros. So the answer to this one is B. Even though Dion has more steps, that's not the question here. They're wanting me to compare the digit 3. And so that's what I have to focus on. It's not about who has more steps. And finally, the Pacific Crest Trail is 2,650 miles long. A marathon is just over 26 miles long. Which sentence is true? So as I look down through here, I see that I am comparing the value of the 2 in all of these. They were nice to us. They could have mixed that up, but they're leaving it as the same number all the way through. So I'm going to look at the 2 here and the 2 here. So this one is worth 2,000 and this one is worth 20. And we want to know the number of times difference between those two. So 20 on the bottom, that's breaking down. 2 into 2 is 1, and then I have 2 zeros. So I'm looking for 100 times. But now be careful here, because this one's a little bit tricky. 10 times, 10 times. That's not my answer. But look at this one. 100 and 100. So you have to pay attention. You can't just pick one at random. It has to be the right one. So let's look at C. The value of 2 in 26, so that's 20, is 100 times greater than this 2. Is that true? 20 is greater than 2,000? No. The value of 2,000 is greater than the value of 20. So the answer to this one is D. And that is question 19. Answer is D. If you have questions on these, please contact your instructor. Let him or her know that you have watched the video and you need some help with these problems. Just mark the problems and the teacher will be able to help you. And I'll see you in the next video where we are looking at rounding numbers. Have a good day.